Happy Thanksgiving Eve, TikTok. Hope everybody is safe, doing well, and getting ready to eat some good food and spend some wonderful time with friends and family. I wanted to jump on and do a video, probably like a 2 or 3 part video, maybe even more, of a question that I've been asked a ton since I started doing these videos, and that is, where did it start? How'd your addiction start? How'd you get into all the mess? So I'm just gonna start diving into it with you. I grew up in a tiny town, Danville, probably 800, 900 people when I was younger, maybe a little more now, but probably not much more. Don't even have a stoplight, just kind of that small town feel. Everybody knows everybody, good, bad, ugly. Everybody just knows everything. I'm the oldest of four. I have two brothers and one sister, all younger than me. I was the first person in my family to graduate high school. My parents, neither one did. My dad dropped out of school and went to proudly serve his country, and I thank him for that. All the way through school, I did not like school, was not good at it, was not my favorite thing to do by far, was a terrible student, to be honest. But the one thing that I could say all the way through school is I never used drugs or alcohol, period. Never messed with them. I was the guy, actually, if my friends had a drug test to take, be it for probation or sports or physical or something, I was the guy that came to. I would sell them samples of my urine for $20 a pop. It was a good side hustle. I grew up around addiction, hated it. There was a lot of things that I thought could be different if, I hadn't grown up around that. So I had an absolute hatred for drugs and alcohol. Plus, I did not want to face the wrath of my dad if I were to come home drunk or high. So I did not use all the way through high school. Graduated high school, super proud of that. It was like one of my first accomplishments that I was proud of. And I had the, all-American dream. I wanted to get a good job, get a nice vehicle, house, picket fence, have some kids, get married. All the stereotypical stuff that, we think we want when we're that age. So I did. I married one of my high school sweethearts, and we had a nice house. We were buying her parents' house. Have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, which were great kids, and I couldn't have asked for any more at that point in my life. I thought that everything I had right then was perfect for me, and it was at the time. It was exactly what I'd set out to do, and it was where I wanted to be. So I was working a factory job, and turned out I hate factory work, just not made for it, not made for doing the same thing repetitively. And I woke up one morning and had a toothache, and it was a terrible toothache. Excuse me. Continue to go to work. I'm not the kind of person that misses work ever, unless I'm in active addiction. Then I don't know what work is. My only work is getting high at that point. So I kept going to work, no issues with calling off, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I went to work like that for probably a week, and into my second week of this toothache, I woke up one morning and my face was just swelled. Like, my ear, my jaw, it was just terribly bad. Looked like the guy off Goonies. It was so bad, it was terrible. And I tried to go to work a couple days like that. And finally, my wife at the time said, you have to go get some antibiotics. If it gets worse, it could, turn into more things than just a toothache. The infection could spread, all that stuff you're told. And I thought, nope, not going, don't like the hospital, don't want to go. And I made it one more day, and I finally went to the emergency room. And I got there, and the typical, we're going to give you some antibiotics, something for pain, follow up with your family dentist in a week or two, or whatever instructions they gave me. And I remember getting a shot of antibiotic and a pain pill. Turned out it was a Vicodin. And they give me discharge papers, and the nurse handed me 2 prescriptions, one for more antibiotic, one for more pain medicine, and the instructions to follow up with my dentist. I probably got 7-8 miles from the hospital, and it was like a light switch when it flipped. Literally like a switch flipped in my mind. That Vicodin had started working, and I had found a feeling that I had been looking for my entire life and did not know it. Best way I can describe it to somebody that does not struggle with addiction is when you come downstairs on Christmas morning, you're a kid, you see the presents, you see the lights, you see the beautiful tree, possibly it's snowing outside, and everything at that moment in your life feels amazing. And all is well. You have butterflies. The Christmas morning feeling is the best way I can describe what I felt when I took that first Vicodin in my life, first time. And little did I know that feeling, obviously would end up chasing for the next 10 years, 2 prison sentences, missing a finger, all kinds of stuff chasing that feeling. But at the time, I was seeing a psychiatrist, and I was on Paxil. And I had an appointment a couple weeks after the trip to the emergency room, and I went in with my prescription for my Paxil, and I took the bottle of Vicodin in with me as well. Because at this time, I was still taking them as directed, so I still had some left. And the psychiatrist said, how's the Paxil working? How's the depression? And I held up the bottle of Paxil. I said, these are terrible. They suck. These make me feel normal. And this was the bottle of Vicodin. And she didn't say anything. And we just awkwardly stared at each other for probably 30 seconds. And, out of her mouth came, you're going to be an addict. And then out of my mouth came, you have no idea what you're talking about, lady. I have never been addicted to anything. I've never used drugs. I hate the idea of drugs. I am not going to be addicted or an addict. Never going to happen. Well, turns out that, the years of schooling that she went through, to get the title that she had of a psychiatrist, she was right. Most definitely I, was going to be an addict, and that was the start of, years of misery. We just don't have a choice. The disease of addiction, once that switch is flipped, and I'm speaking for me, once my switch was flipped, I didn't know how to turn it off. I didn't know what to do to turn it off. It all started for me with one single pill. And if it wasn't my life and I hadn't lived it, I'd find it hard to believe. But truly, one pill, one trip to the emergency room, one decision by a doctor that thought they were doing exactly what needed to be done for a patient, changed the trajectory of my life terribly for over a decade. So there's tons more. Like I said, there'll be probably part 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to try to walk through my entire story with you guys. But I do want to say that it is Thanksgiving coming up. And I know what it felt like to stop being invited to things, to be looked at sideways if I did show up to something family-wise. So if you got somebody in your life, in your family that is struggling, that maybe hadn't been invited to Thanksgiving in years, and, family reunions, any of that, show them some grace. Just try it this year. Try inviting them, see if they show up. And if they do, honestly, that could be the moment that the turnaround happens in their life. They have probably spent months, weeks, maybe years, feeling like they're less than and they're unwanted by everybody they love. Just give them a shot. They're worth it. They need love just like the rest of us. If nobody's told you guys today that you're highly favored and highly loved, you definitely are. And I will talk to you again soon. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.